going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. What is going on right now? So I leave the studio for 2 days. I'm traveling and you guys just go and crash the market. What are you thinking? What is going on? Well, obviously, I'm sure you didn't crash the market, but lots of people are sending me messages asking me, hey, K-Dub, what is going on? I just bought some Bitcoin. The price is crashing. Is it over? I'm hearing FUD about the fact that the top is in, the bull market is over. Should I take all my funds out? Should I sell? Should I buy? What should I be doing? Well, that's why I'm bringing you this emergency update. Obviously, I'm not in the studio right now, but I'm going to let you know exactly what is happening, what I foresee, what I'm doing, and also I do owe you guys an apology. I was, in fact, wrong about Bitcoin. So that's what we're going to talk about super quick today. Also, stay tuned to the end. I will hop into the computer. We'll do a little bit of charting so I can show you exactly what I'm looking at if you're interested. But first, I do owe you an apology, guys. I was wrong about Bitcoin. So back in November of 2019, I actually had the opportunity to do an interview with Crypto Potato, the news outlet, and they asked me about my 2020 end of the year Bitcoin price prediction, and I predicted that Bitcoin would hit $55,000 by the end of 2020. Well, turns out, guys, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It actually took 2 more months, and we hit $55,000 Bitcoin last week. So my apologies, guys. I do owe you that.
Ha ha, very funny, motherfucker.
But let's talk about why it's falling then. Okay, great. Bitcoin hit 55K, but now, we've gone below $50,000. What is happening? Well, always remember, my friends, that when retail misses the boat, they miss the boat. But when the institutions miss the boat, they bring the boat back, right? Now, that's something you need to always keep in mind. Now, also, we have the fact that we have seen a lot of outflows from F2 mining pool, right? We've seen that they've potentially been some of the recent sellers. There also was a mismatch on Kraken's engine, which caused a major dip, okay? Had one of the biggest crashes out of all the exchanges. So that could have had something to do with it as well, but I really think we know who were the main culprits behind this. Okay, all right. Well, it's just a joke, but if you guys are following me on Twitter, yeah, that was a pretty popular tweet. But in all sincerity, here's what is most likely happening. And this may not actually be the answer that you were looking for, but it's probably the one that is most true. So we know that Bitcoin has historically been known for these 20%, 30%, even 40+% crashes. In fact, it had about 10 of them in the 2017 bull market. So this is very common for Bitcoin to do this. And if you've been watching the channel for quite some time, we have actually been anticipating a 30% crash. And I'll be quite honest with you guys, we haven't even actually hit 30% yet. So there is a potential that we could go even lower. I will show you that in the charts if you're interested at the end of the video. But essentially what is happening, point blank, plain and simple, it's probably not the most exciting news, is that we're just having panic selling. What happens is you have some mid-tier whales that finally decide, hey, that's enough for me, I've made enough, and they start to sell. And these guys have a lot of Bitcoin, so they're able to move the markets. And as they start to sell, we have other people who also have sell orders that get triggered, and then other sell orders get triggered, and they get triggered, and they get triggered. And the next thing you know, it's literally like an avalanche, right? Where you just have a bird who lands on a branch, and the snow falls, and it just starts turning into a bigger and bigger snowball, and then eventually everybody at the bottom of the hills gets killed by a giant avalanche, right? That's literally what happens. And essentially, it's just that people are scared and they are selling. Now, yes, there also is forms of manipulation as well, right? We have seen super big players who have large positions, maybe potentially even miners, like F2 Pool, for example, who actually can take advantage to get more Bitcoin during a short sell, right? So what they'll do is they know that they have enough Bitcoin to actually be able to move the market. So they'll put in a giant sell order and intentionally crash the price. And you might be saying, well, how can they make money by crashing the price? Well, that's where it actually gets tricky. What these guys do is they'll actually put in a short order, over on some type of futures platform, whether it be CME futures or Bybit or whatever, and they'll bet against Bitcoin. So they actually sell, they have a short order in, so they're able to make money by shorting Bitcoin because they're the ones that actually sold off the coins, and then they buy back in for cheap. And if you don't think that this is all happening right now, as, you know, even if you think it's some form of manipulation in order to get more Bitcoin, well, then you haven't been around the space long enough, because I can tell you right now, this bull run is nowhere near over. These types of shakeouts are designed to get you to sell your Bitcoin to the smart money who is definitely accumulating it. And if you don't believe me, check out CryptoQuant data or check out Glassnode data, and you'll notice that in just the past week, we have seen Bitcoin addresses with 1 Bitcoin or more selling off tons of Bitcoin, whereas we've seen whale addresses with 1,000 Bitcoin and higher accumulating. So once again, this is telling me that the retail is scared. The new traders that just hopped in the past month, they heard, they saw the laser eyes on Twitter. They heard that Bitcoin's going to be going to 100K. They're all like, oh my goodness, I just lost 30% of the money that I put in. This is crazy. And they're panic selling, and this is creating that cascade of orders, right? And it doesn't help the fact that, Janet Yellen came out and also said that, Bitcoin can't be trusted and all this other FUD, et cetera, right? So that's really what's happening, my friends. There is nothing unhealthy or unnatural about what is happening right now. Remember, the bulls take the stairs, the bears take the elevator, right? Up and then crash. And Bitcoin has historically been known for these types of crashes. So what am I doing right now? Well, I am accumulating as much Bitcoin as I possibly can. And you probably think I'm crazy. Where do I even get the funds from? Well, I've been doing something that, is often probably not recommended for beginners. But if you check over here, I actually was able to make 3 Bitcoin. Actually, one of my most profitable trading days happened during one of the worst crashes. Now, keep in mind, Bitcoin is up 100% this year. We were due for a correction, but I knew that we were going to fall below that $50,000 level, or at least I assumed that we may try to retest it. So that's why I was able to go in, put in my buy order, and you know what? I didn't hold it long term, I sold. And that's the thing, when you're trading on, futures or you're doing leverage, you don't want to hold these trades for long periods of time. You want to get in and you want to get out, and you don't want to use super high leverage, right? And by the way, guys, I go over this time and time again on my channel. I have lots of different tutorials. In fact, if you didn't check out my PHEMEX tutorial that I put out yesterday, probably not the greatest time to put the tutorial out, but it does show you how to be responsible and trade these moves so you can be profitable when Bitcoin goes up or when it goes down, right? You can short the markets as well. I would be careful about shorting right now. I do not think that we're going into a bear trend. I just think that this is a bit of a trap. I think it's a bit of a cool off, a healthy correction. But let's dive in. Let's have a look at the charts, and then I'll let you know exactly where I see this going.
So having a look right here at the charts, you could see that on February 8th, we did have this massive candle where Bitcoin had a wick to about the $45,565 level right here. Now that level actually became a very critical level where we danced around it a little bit. Once we dumped, we pumped up, we used it one more time as a support, and then Bitcoin began its parabolic rally. Now we have had a major crash down to this level, and you can see recently on the 4-hour chart, we've tested it not once, but twice. So there is a possibility that the crash could be over, and that could be it. However, if we actually take the move from top to bottom, we can actually see that Bitcoin only fell about 22%. Now, we have seen Bitcoin fall about 30% in the past. So does this mean that there is more room for the downside? Well, we do know that we have Bitcoin CME futures expiry on this Friday, and we do know that we've seen massive sell-offs leading into those days historically. Also, March has been a historically bad month for Bitcoin. Out of the past 12 years, I think only 2 or 3 of them have actually been green months. So the interesting thing that I do want to point out is that you'll notice that one of my favorite indicators to use for Bitcoin is the 21 exponential average on the daily. And you can see right here, when we had this insane crash from 57 all the way down to 47, we literally exactly touched that level. Excuse me, let me just get all these out of here. Exactly touched that level, and we bounced back up. And zooming in again right here, you could see that even though we did wick below it, we are sitting directly above it again. So this is showing me that the short term is actually holding support. But could we potentially fall lower? And if we did, to what level? Well, Well, the next would be around the 50-day moving average, which you could see is sitting at around $40,230. So is that actually a possibility? Well, if we have a look right here, we did break multiple structures, right? We had lots of levels that we just couldn't get above. We tried to bounce off of this. We had a little bit of resistance, but we just kept falling and falling. Now, we have lots of VPVR right around here, the $48,000 level, and I told you guys that this level was extremely important. If we looked at the data from the whale maps, we saw that lots of big entities were accumulating right around that level. The next big level of interest to break is above the $52,000 level. So really, we need Bitcoin to get back above this $52,000 level, something come up here, maybe come back down, retest it, and then continue upwards on its way, right? But having a look right here, is there a potential chance for it to fall lower? Well, the most important level for me for Bitcoin that would not make me become a Bitcoin bear, but would make me get a bit concerned is if we started to fall below this blue box territory right here and right here. You can see this is between the levels of 40,000 and 42,000. And the reason is because this was our previous top before we went on our downtrend from 42K all the way down to the low of 28,500. Now keep in mind that correction from top to bottom took us down about 30%, right? And Bitcoin, as I've told you guys, has this sort of tendency, it's even almost a meme at this point, to want to fall 30%. And if we actually go from the level here, from top to bottom to where we fell, we've actually only come down about 22 to 23%, right? Now, if we were to come down to the target of the bottom of the box, you could see right here, that would bring us to about 30%, which would be right on target for our typical Bitcoin dip. So I'm not saying that, the dip is going to have to go further. This could have been it. But as you can see right here, the only reason for us to catch this level is just because of the previous pump right here where we caught support. But realistically, on the macro, if we zoom out, it does look like Bitcoin could be wanting to come down one more step just to shake out the weak hands one more time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If we come down to this level, I am expecting one of the most massive Bitcoin bounces you will probably ever see. And I do have some buy orders set down in this blue box territory. I am looking for a massive bounce if we do go down to those levels. Now, obviously, if we do fall below those levels, well, then we'll be in trouble, but I'm not expecting that to happen. One thing I do want to point out, though, is this has pushed the Bitcoin dominance up. You probably are seeing a lot more red in your altcoins. People tend to jump into the most liquid asset when these things happen, which currently is Bitcoin, which does explain why we have seen this massive, massive crash for Ethereum. Ethereum saw one of the worst crashes, especially over here on Kraken, which also had to do with the mismatching. But you can see that either way, we are sitting above our level where we did say between 1438 and 1474. Currently, the price is sitting at 1537. So as far as Ethereum is concerned, everything, in my opinion, looks healthy as well.
Also, guys, I apologize if the audio is a little all over the place. I don't actually have my microphone with me today, but that being said, one other thing to consider is that we do know that Michael Saylor and his Saylor bot are currently buying right now on the actual exchanges. And I'm not saying that Michael Saylor knows anything about manipulation or whales, but I am saying that, man, if you look at this guy's track record, he does conveniently seem to always be buying the dip. And we know that the Saylor bot will be running for the next 10 days. So he's probably looking to accumulate this at the cheapest price. We also have the CME futures expiry on Friday, right? So that could all be a sign that we could potentially even just have another quick wick down to that level that I just showed you. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but I just want you guys to be prepared, okay? So, all of that, before we go, if you think this is the end of Bitcoin, if you think it's all over, you have to reevaluate the situation. Bitcoin did not go through a 3-year bear market from 20K all the way down to 3K twice, once in the bear market and then once with the pandemic scare, only to then 1.5x its all-time high, get investments from Tesla and have Miami looking to put it on, their city's treasury and having nations saying that their fiat is completely crumbling because Bitcoin is just too powerful. No, we didn't come this far for it to just crash back down to zero. So you can ignore the noise. You can ignore Peter's shift, guys. We are still in a bull market. Be safe out there. If you are using leverage, definitely just be careful. Don't sit in trades forever. If you don't know how to do it, then simply don't trade. Just buy the dip, dollar cost average, and hodl, and that is your best bet. So thank you so much again for coming back to the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to be, putting out these videos every day, but like I said, this isn't the end of the market. Yes, there's room for the downside, but I do think that inevitably we are going higher. I think that this price is going to be insane. In 6 to 8 months from now, you could be looking at $100,000 to $250,000 Bitcoin. I'm not upset. I'm currently buying. I've showed you guys that. I'm trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. And yeah, so that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the update. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that, I'm making this update, in a time where, I wasn't planning on it, but geez, it's like I can't go away for a day without the markets getting crazy. So I love you guys. You're awesome. Be safe out there. Don't stress it. If this is your first dip, well, welcome to the club. You've officially survived. So that's it for me. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. And if you haven't seen the tutorial popping up right here, right now, check it out. Be safe. And until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.